Santa Muerte Online, how y'all doing? Let's make another little quick video here today. Okay, let's talk about the importance of culture. The importance of culture, the importance of understanding yourself. This goes with the part of knowing who you are. Where do you come from? What is your background? Your culture? A word of suggestion. Understand yourself, understand your culture, understand where you come from before you start practicing anything. Who are you? Are you Jamaican? Then understand that Jamaican heritage. Understand what the Jamaicans practice. Understand your ancestors. Understanding your ancestors will lead to you understanding yourself. See, we come from the original seeds, right? You carry that lineage. You carry that. Hello, how you doing? You carry that lineage. You carry that energy of your ancestors, of your antepasados, right? So learn about yourself, learn about that culture. That is very important when we are attending our ancestors. Ancestors have to do a lot with this practice of Mitsikatikwa because this is an ancestor veneration. It's why our ancestors venerated. Now, I'm not saying that if you're not Hispanic, then you have nothing to do with it. I'm not saying that. But understand, because if you're non Hispanic, non Latino, then you're letting your ancestors know that you're becoming part of a certain practice. You're also uplifting that so your future generations also have that understanding later on. If you choose, a lot of people have kids and they bring their kids into something. And it's funny, I have a lot of people that I work with that have kids, and their own kids just walk up to her for some reason. She just loves kids, right? And start the kids themselves, put a candle, offer her candy, and they talk to her. The kid's mind is so innocent. They haven't been corrupted like us adults. But it's very important when you bring culture, understanding where is it that you come from. How can you practice something that doesn't, resonate with you, or it was not in your belief system before you go ahead and learn about your culture? Learn where you come from. It's very important to learn where you come from. And then once you learn about that, learn about the culture that you are getting into. If she's an Aztec deity, learn about the Aztecs. See, a lot of you guys are like, hey, where do I find information? I need some books and books here, information. Books don't tell you about her, but books will tell you about the culture. Books will tell you about what the Aztecs, what the natives eat back then, so you can understand the type of offerings that you can give her. But the offerings, most of the time, is what you like, because she represents you. So if you like pumpkin with honey, sweet pumpkin, then give her sweet pumpkin, because it's a representation of you. Especially if you're initiated, then that force, that energy is you walking in death. Culture is very important for you to understand about your heritage, about your traditions. Respect your ancestors before you try to learn something else that might not be in your culture. Even though we are spirits that reincarnate, and once you must have been probably an Aztec or Mayan and you're not receiving the call, well, you're going to find out through your ancestry. You're going to find out through your spirit guides, those ancestors that walk with you. Because like I said, you might be white as hell, as snow, and I'm not saying this in a way to sound racist. You might be a very white person, But in a past life, you could have been an Aztec, you could have been a Mayan, you could have been something that had to do with her, and that's why it resonates so strong with you. Because the skin color doesn't matter; it's the spirit within you that matters. That's the one that goes to those rituals. That's the one that goes to that ceremony. It's the spirit within you. That spirit has no color. So understanding your cultural background, understanding where you come from is very important. Morning, Maria. Well, it's morning over there, it's afternoon here. It's very important to understand who you are. Because ancestries, your dead relatives have a lot to do. Hello, Avery. Have to do a lot in this practice. You'll be calling upon their aid a lot of the times. Once you understand what traditional is, I always talk about New Age. Don't misunderstand me. I have nothing against New Age because I'm nobody to go against your spiritual faith. That's a faith, right? Anything that you practice, you go with faith. Now I'm talking about originality. I'm talking about traditional here. It's different. When you decide to work with that real energy, when you decide to work with her, it's way different. Buenos dias, Martha. Good morning. Morning there, afternoon here. So it's very different. You know, find out why did my ancestors love to eat too. That way you can honor them. Just because you have an altar of just her doesn't mean you cannot honor your ancestors there. You never know your ancestors. And when I talk about ancestor, I'm not talking about your abuelito or your abuelita, your grandfather and your grandmother that just recently passed away. I'm talking about your whole damn ancestry, your whole bloodline, all the way to where it started. That's why I say you come from the two original seeds. That's what you gotta find out and get in tune with them, talk to them, because they play a very important part in their spirituality. They will help you advance. They will help you lift up that spirituality. When you're in trouble, those are the ones that give their face. Those are the ones that go in front and fight for you to unblock whatever is blocked. When we work with you, when you guys come here, we are working with your ancestors, the energies of your ancestors, those who we call down to guide you and to help you. That's why it's very important to understand your culture. Look, a lot of you all asking me, why aren't you showing videos anymore on how to do things hands-on? I will. We'll go ahead and to go into a little bit more candle working and stuff like that. Simple, easy things, as we progress. If you guys saw the live yesterday, the interview, there was so much information about spirituality that we gave. Yes, we spoke a lot about Palo and about Ocha and about Ifa, even though I have nothing to do with that. Ifa is Ifa, ask questions to Ifa. But the point is, the topic was, it was about spirituality, about getting in tune with a certain energy and in tune that is you, no matter what is it that you practice. You might be here because something caused you and you're still trying to find out, am I doing things right? Am I doing things wrong? Answer that for yourself. How do you feel when you're working with that energy? Do you feel good? Yes, it's hard in the beginning because you have no understanding of that energy, how it works. So that's what we are here for. People that talk about this, we are here to give you suggestions on how you can better yourself. We are here to help you, tell you about how we did it, how it works for us. But at the end of the day, you're an individual with your own spirituality. Yes, those spirituality could be enhanced. They could be awake by ceremonies and stuff, by initiations, which is different. But you yourself has to search within you, and that's why culture is very important. to understand who you were. Earlier, I used that example about Jamaican. Craig, you're Jamaican. In that tradition, you have a goddess of death that you might resonate with her a lot. But she comes and opens the door to you, trying to say, yes, you work with death, but you might work with this goddess of death that is from your tradition. But since you have no representation, then work with her statue, her representation, but honor the goddess of death from your culture. That's why I said death is death. Death is death. She has no preference, or he has no preference. Other question that I was asked was, what do I think about Santa Muerte? It's an energy of death. Whether it's masculine or it's feminine, it's an energy of death. It's a masculine energy of death from a different cultures. I believe that comes from the Guaranis, but it's a different culture. But at the same time, in the Aztec tradition, there is a god of death, the masculine energy. See, now when we talk about San La Muerte, that's why a lot of those statues were copied from this New Age statues too. But they made it a feminine. The difference is San La Muerte has the chest open, Santa Muerte has her chest closed because, she's a female. But you understand that's why the copies of those statues come. I made a video, I believe it was yesterday or the day before, where I showed you the statue that we actually work with the Mitikatikwa. It's just as time process goes by, a certain tradition, a certain practice gets washed down so bad. And those are those people that, they were baptized Catholic, they were, Christians, and they're having a hard time letting go. So they want to do the little thing, but they have a hard time letting go of that because it's what they know. It's what they feel comfortable with. So they bring in a practice and mixes with them, and then they think it's okay. But in reality, you're being a hypocrite. Because see, if the Catholic Church condemns and she is not accepted in the Catholic Church, understand what is it that you're working with. I've been researching and I have come across different names in different eras for the same energy. Yes. It's beyond Mitzicaticua. It's beyond Mitzicaticua Santísima Muerte. Her story goes all the way back to Africa. Her story goes all the way back to the Egyptians. See, you gotta understand this. Where did the Aztecs come from? They came from the Mayans, right? There were also somewhere Native Americans that came back. You got to understand the story about the eagle, right? When the Native Americans decided to leave what we call the United States and go back to Mexico, right? And they were wandering and wandering, and then they saw an eagle on top of this branch, right? They saw this eagle on top of that branch, and then they took it as an omen. If you understand the story of the Mexicas, how it started. And then it goes about the Mexicas going into war because they skinned a princess that one of their prince got married with. I believe those were from the Tecos, Tolocas. Okay, there's a lot of beautiful history out there. A lot of you guys don't even read your own country's history. Okay? But then you got to understand that the Native Americans were also Mayans, right? Mayans that separated and went on their own and stopped, but then they try to come back to the lands with the Aztec. But before they were Mayan, they were called the Olmecs, right? The Olmecas. Well, the Olmecas were basically different races. African Americans or Africans, and they were also mixed with Asians. But they came from somewhere else too. A lot of things come from Egypt. But before Egypt, there was ancient Mesopotamia. There was ancient Babylonia. There were more cities beyond that. That's where how far you have to go. But if I start speaking about this here, I'm gonna get told different things and called different names because that's two events. Now that's on a personal research that I'm doing. But when you understand that she has a lot to do with Lilith, a lot to do with Hecate, you'll be like, what the hell is he talking about? That's how far that research has gone. Okay? Now if I heard something about Lilith, right? Lilith is the oldest. The oldest. And once you start reading about her, you're gonna be like, oh wow. See, you gotta understand about the owl. The owl. The owl that is always represented with her. There's a reason why that owl is there. It's telling you a secret. It's giving you a message. But of course, those people come and they migrate to new lands. The words change. The saying of the speech changes. So it's different. So culture is very important. Yes, Atlantis. Was Atlantis real? Yes, it was. It's in the books. Now ask yourself, how the hell did the emerald tablets of Thoth end up in the Yucatan Peninsula? If Thoth was an Atlantean, a lot of people won't have a clue of what I'm speaking about, but those who are doing the research will understand. If Thoth was an Atlantean, the emerald tablets of Thoth, ask yourself, how the hell did they find his tablets in the Yucatan Peninsula, which is was a Mayan place for Mayans? This is beyond her practice. What I'm speaking to you, but my knowledge is way beyond this. What I'm showing you, it's kids play. When I'm talking to you, it's kids play. It'll take you a long time to understand that. I even done research on the Anunnakis, the what you call it, Inki, Enlil, the Gilgamesh. That's how far I've gone, because I mentioned ancient Mesopotamia. Beyond that, so it's way more than that, because you need to understand what is it that you're venerating, and when doing your research, you learn more secrets. Yes, secrets were passed down to me from my elders, but I also want to know more. So I'm a person that keeps doing research, I listen. I listen a lot. I see a lot, research a lot, because it only gives me more understanding of who she is. And who she is, it gives me understanding of who am I. So culture is very important. Start with culture. Start with your ancestors. Who were your ancestors? Where did your ancestors come from? As much as you can. Simple. Very easy. Yes, how did the pyramids turn up in Peru? Did the Aztecs have something to do with Peru? Did the Mayans have something to do with the Incas? Who were they communicating with? There's always a belief of gods in the sky. But like I said, you have to get out of that shell, that circle that you put around you, and you choose to live in that little circle. You have to go out to see what's outside, what's on the other side of the fence. Stop being a fanatic, a religious fanatic, and understand who that energy that some of you call mother the energy that you're venerating is. And doing research on your culture, you'll be doing research on her too. Funny how civilizations that are thousands and thousands of miles away have something in common to do with the civilizations and the ancient Americas. Sorry, I gotta get something here. So a lot of you have a long way to go. You haven't even scratched the surface yet. That's why I said this is very important to have an understanding of who you are, have an understanding of what is it that you're venerating, what is it that you put in your belief system in. How do you find out? You can do an ancestry test to find out what is it that you have. But a lot of people say don't work. But the best thing to do is ask her. She'll give you the message and she'll tell you, look this up, study this, and find out who you were. Maria, you have a lot of Asian features within you. Find out if you have ancestries that were Asians. Some part of like Japanese, Chinese. You might be from the original Olmecs. So you are 79% Native American. Well, bring in that influence of the Native Americans. Learn about sage, learn about sweetgrass, learn about flatbread, learn about that culture and incorporate that within you. But you have the other 20%. Where did the other 20% go? Now you're going to have a certain percentage of African, because everybody has a little percentage of African in there, Polynesian. But understand now that you know that 70%, or close to 80% is Native American, then embrace the heritage too, but also embrace the heritage on your Latin side. Embrace it. Understand who the Native Americans were. Do research on the Native Americans. Do the research on the different Kachinas. The Kachinas, we work with Kachinas as well. You guys haven't seen it, but those who have come when we were in LA, Maria, you seen the Native American Kachinas, right? You seen those Native American statues that we have. We have the God of Rain. We have the God of the Stars. We have different Kachinas. Yes, so you have 2% Congo. Now you understand why you have that Palo, right? Those Palo practices, why you got initiated into Palo and you work with Palo and you work with Mitikatikwa. So let me tell you, Maria has her initiation. Maria got initiated through us. She received her Mitikatikwa initiation. She received her Palo initiation. But see, Maria has a hunger for it. Even though Maria's joined us in Palo, Maria never stops talking about Mitikatikwa. Sorry, I got something in my eye. Maria has this hunger. You should see her altars. Her altars are beautiful, right? And I believe she has the original Mitikatikwas that she also works with. But that's somebody who has that calling, that hunger, that awakening that she wants to know and know and know and know. Maria asks questions. And when Maria asks questions, we answer. But you also have to put a part of yourself, and that's learning who you are, learning where you come from, learning about your culture, learning about your ancestry. But it's an investment, right, Maria? All those statues that you have, everything that you invested, is an investment for you. That's what people don't understand. You are investing in yourself when you go through initiations, when you buy a statue, when you buy a book, when you buy a shirt. She even has an Aztec dog. Those hairless dogs, the name doesn't come into my head right now. Forgot the name of them, but she even has that. That's how much she is into this tradition. What's the name of those dogs, Maria? I forgot the name of it. It's not in my head right now. Sochi, Sochi. I forgot the name of something. Okay. Um, but that's how much. Yes. There you go. So, Luis is out on it too. So this is when you decide to take this spiritual journey. A lot of you guys will be like, "Oh my God, this is about money. This is this." Yes, because you're investing in yourself. It's simple as that. It's an investment in yourself. You think that I haven't invested thousands in reading material, not just initiations, thousands in reading material, thousands in classes that I've taken to understand. Even though I was, taught at a very young age, but we also have to, there's new things that we have to learn. So we invest on ourselves too. Especially when you start practicing palo, you invest thousands in palo, and you be like, oh my God, all this money, but it's investment for you, money that you will get back. But it's not about that. I always say, hey, if you can go out there and buy a pair of Jordans that cost you $300, you invested in yourself. You invested in those feet. Now invest in your spirituality. But back to the topic, culture. Understanding your culture is very important. Very, very important. Okay? That's way before doing spiritual work, spell working, and stuff like that. Because now that you understand yourself, you'll be more in tune when you are turning those candles. You're gonna have an understanding who is it that you actually asking for help when you turn those candles on for yourself or for someone else. Because once you understand yourself, you're gonna understand your client's culture and how those ancestors work. You need to understand about moon cycles. It's not just let me turn a candle on and I'm gonna do this, get the candle and boom, that's it. Understand how you're gonna put those feelings, how you're gonna put the intuition in that by understanding yourself. But anyways, guys, this was a little quick video that I wanted to share with you guys. Yes, there's a lot of secrets. The level of secrets the ancestor had to keep to survive made it seem lost. Yes, but you need to understand, especially if you have, well, the Aztecs went to the same things, the Mayans, the Africans went to the same thing because we were colonized. We were forced to believe in a tradition, a religion that wasn't with us, about us, right? So in order for them to survive, they had to hide it. In order for their bloodline to continue, they couldn't teach them because they didn't want their kids to be whipped, to be hung, to be killed, to be burned in the fire because they were witches, right? Because anything that you do against the Catholic Church is witchcraft. It's of the devil. So not only were they enslaved, they had to adapt to a different culture, but they were still smart where they said, okay, this saint is gonna be this God for my practice. So they were praying to the Virgin of Guadalupe, let's say, right? To the Virgen of Guadalupe. But in reality, they were praying to their Aztec goddess, to an Aztec goddess. They were praying to San Antonio, but in reality, they were praying to an Aztec god. What the Africans do, they put the saints, right? They were praying to the Virgen de la Merced, but in reality, they were praying to Obatala. Then the Congos saw that, and the Congos did the same thing, and then boom, everything got mixed with the Congos, the Santeria and stuff, and now we have Palo Ocha. But that's a different topic, right? But for you to guys understand, that's what the ancestors had to do to survive. And the cultures were less and less and less people practiced, but there were people that did that they did keep those secrets, and they passed those secrets by secret societies, let's say, that they say, okay, I will teach you, but you swear to me that you will never say this to anyone or share this with this, and those secrets lived on, but through inner circles or circles of a different practice, school of thought. For example, my circle, the walking jaguars, because that's something that came from way, 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 where knowledge was passed down and kept very sacred. But now we live in a day, in an era that we could talk about tradition and not be burnt, not be crucified. We could talk about that. Very ancient, powerful knowledge that was kept secrets, passed down, passed down, passed down. Unfortunately, there's some people before me, way before me, that started this path, but they got, as they grew older, the power of the female led them to give up on their practice because they were busy chasing tail. Or the female got in love, and the husband didn't want them to practice anymore, and things got forgotten, and that practice didn't go on. But today we could still save that practice and continue sharing information. But a lot of us have decided a lot of us have decided, yes, family, anything that has to do with Christianity is always, they're always going to say this is the work of the devil. But a lot of us have decided nowadays to keep it a secret society. So that's why you're not going to find books, you're going to not find a lot of information about her. It's all through, here's the book, and from here it comes all the way here, and it's shared with you guys. Secret knowledge. I once was thinking about writing a book of everything that was taught to me and leave that behind. It's a lot of work. I'd rather just teach it to those who really want to learn about this, because we haven't even touched the subject, the surface, scratched the surface yet about spiritual working, magic. We say magic, but it's labor espiritual, trabajo espiritual. Magic is the word magic actually is when you do card tricks and stuff like that, right? Disappear things. You do work magic. Spiritual work is different. Labor espiritual. Trabajo espiritual. When you say yo soy un espiritista, I am an spiritist, right? So, that's it, guys. You have a wonderful rest of your day. It's time for me to go start with my work. Preparing those candles. I only have one more candle left, all right? So whoever decides to get it, I put the link or the how to get that if you're interested. Got one more left. Remember, just because I finished that candle today doesn't mean I'm going to turn them on today. I'm waiting for the full moon, and then I will turn those candles on and send you the pictures, all right? You'll have a blessed day.